Hi, I'm Dr. Mercedes Okosi, a licensed clinical psychologist in New York City, and today I want to talk about some commonly used phrases that we may all have heard that are psychology-related concepts that can sometimes be overused or misunderstood. So I'll go through a list and talk about what kind of things overusing these phrases have in common and how they can have an impact on people who do or don't actually have these different challenges. So first, the overarching kind of idea is that to have what we call in psychology a mental illness, it has to impair your functioning in a significant way. So that means the symptoms of what your mental illness may be get in the way of your work, relationships, social life, etc., in a way that's significant enough that it presents significant challenges to your life. That's different from the wide range of emotions and thoughts and experiences that all of us have that may not impair our functioning or get in the way of our day-to-day lives. So it can sometimes be harmful to just throw around these words and concepts because it will minimize the experiences of people who actually do suffer from these things. And on the other hand, when people are not at a clinical level of distress, it can overemphasize or overpathologize some of those symptoms. So let's talk about a few examples. First, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. You may have heard someone say with regard to another person being very clean or organized, "You're so OCD." The issue with that is that, one, the level of severity is usually not impairing the person's life when the person commenting is making that comment. It's fine to want to be clean, to organize, and to have that be a priority in your life, but not something that necessarily impairs your life. Whereas someone with obsessive compulsive disorder likely would spend a significant amount of time on the obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviors or mental rituals that they feel the need to do, to the point that it's distressing to them, it feels out of their control, and it's something they would rather not experience. The other part of this is that some things can be mental compulsions or rituals or compulsions someone can do that you can't see externally, like cleaning or hand washing. Some compulsions can be things like counting or other kind of internal mental rituals that people do. The other direct contradiction to this is that hoarding is under the umbrella of obsessive and compulsive type disorders. And hoarding, if you've seen any hoarding shows or documentaries, can be the opposite of clean and organized. So throwing around "you're so OCD" is not only inaccurate a lot of the time, but really minimizes what people with obsessive compulsive disorder are likely experiencing. Another one, bipolar. Most of the time when I hear this colloquially, people are saying that someone is having mood swings. And when all of us experience a regular fluctuation in emotions and have to do certain things to regulate our emotions, it would actually be strange if we only felt one way the entire day, or even for like your entire work day, to not have any moments of slight anxiety, sadness, joy, etc. With bipolar disorder, type 1 and type 2 I'll talk about, someone has to have significant hypomanic or what we call manic episodes. And those last significantly longer than fluctuations in mood or changes in emotions throughout the day. With bipolar type 1, which includes depressive episodes and full-blown manic episodes, the manic part has to last at least 1 week to meet full criteria. So that means the person is experiencing grandiosity and risky behaviors and a high amount of energy and likely doing impulsive things for most of the day, nearly every day for at least a week. And in type 2 with hypomanic episodes, those have to last at least 4 days. So for example, I've, in my clinical work, seen and heard stories of someone in a manic episode walking the entire city, around the entire New York City, so much so that like the soles of their shoes were worn down because they had just that much manic energy and lack of control. That's way different than just feeling sad at 9 a.m. and then feeling mad at 12 and then happy later, which may happen in anyone's day. So again, it can minimize the experience of people who are actually dealing with bipolar, and distort the experiences of people who are not dealing with bipolar and are having typical mood fluctuations. Similarly with depression, a lot of times people will say depressed when they mean sad, and not all sadness is depression, and not all sadness will be a depressive episode. There are some physical manifestations or symptoms of depression that sometimes people will overlook, like sleeping too much or not getting enough sleep, feeling agitated, or the opposite of that, feeling really slow and lethargic and fatigued, weight loss or weight gain or significant changes in appetite, and also some other cognitive things like difficulty with concentration and decision making. So someone may feel sad and have no other symptoms of depression, so not really have a depressive episode, or they may have those other things and truly have a depressive episode that really impacts their life. But again, different things. Similarly with anxiety, not all worry is anxiety. There are also some physical symptoms of anxiety like agitation and restlessness, muscle tension, and sometimes like gastrointestinal or nausea can come with anxiety. Another one that I hear more and more now, especially probably with the influence of social media, is body dysmorphia, which is different from just not liking your body or not liking a certain part of your body. The dysmorphia aspect is really about someone either, and this is also under the umbrella of an obsessive compulsive type of disorder, that someone has obsessive thoughts about a part of their body or aspect of their body that other people either can't see, or it's slight and not as significant to other people as it is to them. And might do compulsions like checking in the mirror or other types of checking of their body or parts of their body. And again, it has to present a significant level of distress and impairment in their life, which, you know, on a spectrum of just not liking part of your body to really seeing yourself differently than what's objectively there and having obsessions and compulsions about checking your body, different things. And lastly, I've heard this so much and have had people come into therapy. Everyone who comes into therapy a lot of times will say like, oh, I have a partner who's narcissistic, my mom was narcissistic, etc. But again, narcissistic personality disorder is different from someone just being selfish or mean. With narcissistic personality disorder, often there's another side where the person is actually very insecure about their grandiosity and sense of self-importance being crushed or injured. And when someone has what we call a narcissistic injury, it can come from a lot of history of them not having had the experience of being seen and valued and appreciated in their earlier attachments. And so placing a lot of importance on maintaining that level of importance or grandiosity or power, etc. And then also, people who have narcissistic personality disorder most of the time have exploitive or transactional relationships where they see other people in their lives as tools or opportunities for their personal gain. And again, someone without narcissistic personality disorder can be selfish and mean, but it's less likely that all of their relationships are superficial and transactional in that way, and that they lack empathy across the board. So I think sometimes that can be thrown around a little bit too loosely when people encounter someone who is selfish and mean for what can be a lot of other reasons. So those are just a few examples. If you can think of any more things that you've heard being thrown around, or like terms that have become more popular on social media these days that are psychology related, leave those down below in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and take care. I feel like I was talking for